Uh,
So obviously with the Timberwolves sweeping the Suns, they move on to face the Nuggets in the second round. This is going to be an amazing series. I feel like who is going to win a series and in how many games?
this is not recency bias. This I think it's Wolves in 7. Jamal Murray dealing with a little, banged up or whatnot. Then they're on a shooting slump. I'm not saying it's gonna keep going. I'm not like I don't predict that, but just how we seen they gobble up pause. The Suns they could do the same kind of to the Nuggets. The Nuggets aren't a they don't shoot a lot of threes, so it's not like they're gonna be bombing away a lot of threes. A lot of their things come at the rim and in the mid range area. Uh, Minnesota they can crowd and they can handle that. They have somebody that thought their best player on the perimeter. They have the rotation enough to get to Jokic. Whether Jokic goes off or not, that doesn't really matter. Especially late game. Late game, we know it goes to Jamal Murray. They have about 4 bodies that they can throw at him. They're always going to be fresh. I think you could limit what Michael Porter Jr. does. As they throw somebody on him like Anthony Edwards. He could probably hold his own against him. Uh, Jaden McDaniels, you could send him anywhere out there. He's just going to do his thing. And I think they can score. Like they'll find a way to score. Like especially off turnovers and whatnot. That'll get them hot, and they'll be able to go on a run. Especially if they get out in transition. It's going to be a bloodbath. It's the best player in the world versus this up and coming team, the best defense in the league. This is great for narrative. This is great for basketball right now. Anthony Edwards is trying to stake his claim. He's gonna have plenty of rest. I don't think he really needs it. The Nuggets, their bench is probably going to be the hindrance right here. Clears the coaching gap, but I don't think Chris Finch is a bad coach. I don't know if he's going to be there or not. He just got hurt, so not having a coach on the sideline can really affect you. But I think the Wolves, like they're like 6th, 7th, 8th guys are better than the Nuggets, 6, 7, 8 guys, and I think that's the type of advantage you need when you need to win on the margins against this Nuggets team because you could probably play with them for 3 quarters, maybe 3.5 quarters, but come that last stretch, that's when they really beat you. But as long as if you could bridge that gap early, get out to a big lead, you could probably like weather the storm, especially with the defense that they have.
I feel like I've always counted out the Nuggets, and I think that's what it looks like right now. Denver's beat up. I think what you said, KCP and Jamal Murray, both on bad legs. The defensive ability of the Timberwolves, I don't think favors the wings and guards of Denver at all. Obviously, you have MPJ shot very well, like I said last series, but I don't think I don't think there's any way that it stays the same when you have McDaniels and Anthony Edwards trying to guard you. If Jamal Murray's beat up and not at 100%, it's not going to be great, I think, as a whole for Denver. But they still have the best player in the series by far. We know that Ant can elevate his game, but Jokic is still Jokic. And I think that's the reason that I'm still thinking I'm going with Denver. So I'd probably go Denver in 7, and I think it'll be a long-fought series. I don't know. Jokic showed it last year. He's the best player in basketball. Showed it this year. He's the best player in basketball. I think that Ant has, in his first 2 playoff series, has hooped. Like, there's nothing to say about it. I think he's damn near averaging 30. I think he's got 28 or something in his first 2 playoff series. They obviously want revenge from last year, but I don't know. Jokic is Jokic, and I can't pick against him at this point in time. They do have the coaching. Obviously, Mike Malone's better coach than Chris Finch. I don't know. I think Chris Finch could he not sit on the sidelines? Like, he's got a bad knee, but could he not just sit on the sidelines?
I don't know how that would work.
Like, why would you not
Plus,
just
coaching,
sit in the
coaching on
chair?
the sideline of an NBA game, especially in the playoffs, is a little different than sitting down and be able to do what you got to do because you got to be able to walk up and down. Honestly, you can have an assistant do it. Go call those timeouts, them go to the scores table, them do all that. But it's a different element when your head coach is doing it, other than an assistant head coach or whatnot. Like it's a different vibe. Maybe it's not the message won't hit the same. It's just certain things like certain nuances that I think having a head coach up and active is just, does for your team, especially around this time.
I think the big player for me this series is going to be Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon needs to elevate his role, I think, as far as competing with the 2 guys in the front court that Minnesota has with Rudy Gobert and Cat. Defensively, it doesn't look good for Jokic, but again, it's still Jokic, so you can manage him as much as you want, but you're not going to stop him. I do think that the role players, I think, like, if I'm not saying injuries are going to happen, but barring injuries happen, I think Denver has some role players who can step up, like a Christian Braun in the situation. I think it'll be a great series. I find it hard to pick against Jokic right now. And Mike Malone, even if Jamal Murray was injured last night, comes up, hits the game-winning shot. So I think there's only so much you can do with Denver right now. But if there is one team to beat them, I do think it's Minnesota. So I think winner of this series will probably go to the finals. Yeah.
I agree. I think the Timberwolves match up better than any other team in the entire NBA against Denver. They have McDaniels to throw on Jamal Murray. He's one of the best perimeter defenders in the entire NBA. They have Rudy Gobert, one of the best interior defenders, if not the best interior defender in the entire NBA. They have size, they have rebounds. We just saw in the last series they have the toughness, the drive. And then as far as Anthony Edwards, the Nuggets don't have the point of attack defenders to really guard him. We saw last year, I think he averaged around 31 points against them last season. They don't have the personnel to stop what Anthony Edwards is good at. In the playoffs so far, he's been good as a pull-up shooter. They don't have the rim protection to guard him at the rim. So with saying all that, it makes it pretty hard to pick against the Timberwolves at this point in time, especially what I just saw last round. But I think they're great defensively, but the Nuggets are going to be much harder to guard than what the Suns, do. The Nuggets have sets that are good, and they spam them. They go over and over again. They discipline. They don't go away from what's working. Down the stretch of the game, they're the best team at executing. And down the stretch of the game, the Timberwolves have had issues executing all season. So with that being said, I'm going to go to Nuggets in 7. I think it's going to be a very, very tough series. I think it's going to be hard fought. I think it's going to be a toss-up series. And I do agree with you, Max. Whoever wins the series is going to go to the NBA Finals.
It might be a slight overreaction to the Timberwolves in general, around just the basketball world for the simple fact how they treated the Suns. But the Suns were just we already know they were a bad team. Like their roster construction was bad. The offense was, one of the worst offenses in the fourth quarter all season. They also were never a good defensive team also. So maybe the Minnesota's look inflated due to how they treated the Suns. So that might where a lot of this things might stem from where, people say, might have the Wolves. That's not my reasoning. I just strictly based off it's hard to, two-peat. The way they're playing isn't great right now. I do trust Jokic. I'm not saying I don't trust Jokic. I'm just everything coming together, might not be conducive right here, right now. The thing that can't stop them is injury. And right now they got two people that are kind of hobbled. So just based off that and the bench unit gives me a little grace. I'm saying it's in 7. So obviously we go into 7. It's really a toss-up. I don't really know what's going to happen, but I know it's going at least 6. You know what I'm saying?
I think the bench unit point is a great point for sure. Naz Reid, Nickeil Alexander-Walker were great against the Suns. There's a lot of reason right now to pick the Timberwolves, and it's not because of what they did to the Suns. It's because how they match up with Denver. They had 5 games last year that were relatively close in certain aspects, and that series was without Jamie Downs, and that series was without. I don't know if Naz Reid played, but I don't think he might not. And this year, the Timberwolves are just collectively a better team. They had a full season with Rudy Gobert, and they had a full season with Cat for them to mesh well, for them to build chemistry. Ant's playing his ass off right now. He's about to ride. So there's a lot of reason to pick against Timberwolves in the series, and I see it. I understand the reasoning, and I'm not gonna lie, it's super hard to pick because last series, I think we operated the logic wasn't the best. We could have did some better logic in the last series, but when we're using logic in this series, it kind of favors the Timberwolves in the aspect. The matchup favors the Timberwolves. What we've seen in the playoffs favors the Timberwolves. So it's kind of hard to pick against them in the series. I will admit that.
Are you saying logic in the Lakers series?
No, logic with the Suns and Timberwolves. Okay. But with this, when we break down this matchup, it feels much more clear cut, and it feels it feels clear cut and what we know we're going to see. We know that the Timberwolves match up well against the Nuggets. We know that the Timberwolves struggle down the stretch of the games, and then the Nuggets are great down the stretch of the game. Jamal Murray's health is a big role. They don't play until Saturday, I believe. So he got a little while to rest and rehab, but he hasn't played his best this playoffs. And then he hasn't played his best. He's hobbled, and his defender is probably going to be Jaden McDaniels. So with all that context, it's like it's super hard to pick the Nuggets, and I might be wrong.
He's going to see a very good defender all game. So it's like you might start him out, you might not.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it just depends on the flow of the game. But you know for a fact, after about 5-6 minutes, here come NAW. Yep. They here come McDaniels again. They here come Ant.
Yeah, I agree. Because
might be on there for like 2 minutes just because he's on the floor. He needs some minutes. Like, it's so many things can happen. He's gonna get funneled. Like, especially on these screen actions. If Cat is playing how he played last series, again, it's don't take nothing from the Suns. Like, take it with a grain of salt. But if he jumps up, like, you feel me, he plays over that screen, and you just force Jamal down. You bring him into a smaller area. You put a body on him. You still gonna wear him down. You put a body on him. Like, you still could get him hurt. He's still hobbled. Like, there's ways to attack him. They just have to do it. But again, if a Jokic just is transcendent, then that's just it. We lost, to an all-time player doing all-time things.
I don't even think necessarily they need to throw McDaniels on him, what you were saying, like, for majority of the time, because, like, if Jamal Murray is beat up, like, if he's not playing 100%, I think you can get away with throwing Nikhil or Edwards. You know what I mean? Like, you can get away with throwing someone else on him, and you put McDaniels on, especially if MPJ is shooting like how he started, or if he's coming off what he was at last series. I think you definitely throw McDaniels on MPJ for a little bit to prevent that. And I think I guess Jamal's got some time to heal, but if he's not 100%, I think you can get away with throwing someone else on him. So
I don't think Ant should be the move just because you need him to be.
You get tired. Understand? Yeah,
you need him to be your best offensive player.
You need him to be great offensively. You need him to be great offensively. If
he wants to take that challenge in certain matchups, like especially like late game,
yeah,
you let him do that. That's like a superstar move. You let him, probably for the first, like you're saying, for the first 40 minutes, he's probably not going to really be seeing him. You'll probably see somebody like MPJ, somebody he knows not going to be sitting there, going crazy, dribbling the ball, trying to do a whole lot of things. He's really just, play finisher. You usually got to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? And that's like a break glass, case of emergency, superstar moment. I'm going to do it here right now type nonsense.
I want to see how they're going to be able to guard Denver's actions, especially their pick and roll, because they're going to make Rudy play in space. And while he was great in isolation and in space against the Suns, I want to see him do it against a better offense, much better offense, much more movement. And so I want to see how he plays against that. But yeah, I would definitely probably put Jaden McDaniels on him. We just saw him clamp Devin Booker for a lot of the series, and whoever he was guarding got clamped. And then Jaden McDaniels had that length, and so Jamal Murray likes to get that mid-range shot a lot, and so he could bother that a little bit. And so again, they match up perfectly against them. It's really going to be about their offense late game. It's really going to be about how Anthony Edwards plays in the series. I feel like that's going to be the deciding factors. In the last two series, the Timberwolves dominated the boards, the Nuggets dominated the boards, but it's not going to be that much in this series. I think the rebounding numbers are going to be much more even because both of these teams have great size. The Timberwolves obviously have more size. This series is going to be a chess match. I'm really, really excited to see it. But speaking on Anthony Edwards, we have a star bench cut, so I don't know if you guys are ready to get into that. You picked a prediction.
Me?
What's your prediction? Yeah,
I said Denver in 7.
I also had Denver in 7. And I'm not gonna lie, this is if Jokic goes on a run where he beats the Lakers again, he beats what looks like a defensive juggernaut in the Timberwolves again. He beats one of Luka, Shea.
He beats Boston. That's the big one.
He's gonna go through 3. He's gonna go through 4 top 15 players. If he in the own conference, and then he's gonna go up against another top 10 player coming out the East. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so like he's gonna done 1 through 5 top 15 players all in one run. He's gonna jump from top 18 all time to probably like top 12. Like that room he'll be in, it'll be that Curry Hakeem room, like that area, like that's like that. Just that area you start talking about him.
I got to keep top 10.
With Shaq, like
I do have a top 10.
I think. Oh, sorry. Here you go.
Yeah. So if he goes against the Lakers, and sweeps them. Well, he genuinely swept the Lakers, beats the Timberwolves, and they look like the Timberwolves was genuinely a all-time great defense this season, like relative to the rest of the league. They were 4 points better. And then he goes against one of Luka, Shea, the Clippers, and then finish it off while beating the Celtics. It's like conversation is going to get crazy, and they're going to be warranted. So I agree with he'll probably be top 12 all time after this run, because that would be an insane run to just go on back-to-back championships, 3 MVPs. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I know we've had the conversation, whatever, about where he stands as far as like all-time centers. But I think the conversation is more of like our generation, like where he ranks in our generation, right? I think he's like right behind in our generation. I think like of this, 2015 to now, right? Like whatever era of basketball this is, like he's probably there's Steph, there's Bron, there's KD, and
He's
Jokic might be.
Yeah, he's
like,
a top
I
5
think,
player.
and I think with that, like I think that he's rising up those, and I think he's competing with guys like KD on that. Like KD's up there, but I think that Jokic is like, huh?
As the KD fan, I like to say, like, I think KD's right now, as of right now, it's only going to last all but one more month. To me, he's probably top 13 all time. That's just me. That's just my biased opinion. If I'm being unbiased and I take everything with a grain of salt, he's probably 15, but I'm going to just put him at 13. The people in front of him, I think of Kevin Durant is like Hakeem and Steph. Like I don't think Steph top 10. I think he's like 11, but that's because I still left the buffer for like the older, just a fake respect for like a Bill Russell or a Wilt or Oscar, like whoever I just want to have in that area. But Kevin Durant, he's moving down. That's just gonna come because he doesn't have like pause, but he doesn't have like the crazy regular season accolades. That's not scoring title. Like he doesn't have a bunch of MVPs to like really hang on his belt. Like Jokic to have the same amount of rings and Finals MVPs, but it won't weigh the same. And obviously he will have 3 more MVPs than him. It's a shame Kevin Durant played at the same time as a LeBron James and a Stephen Curry. Like he probably could have got 2 more, but that's not his fault. I mean, that's not anybody's fault. You just got to rank how it comes. Giannis was supposed to be that guy that people thought to move up the ranks, but Giannis, as of right now, looks like he's stagnant at where he is around like number 17. But Jokic, like he has a chance to like really get into like top 10 talks, like probably like 9, 8, unless we think like this is the last year he's gonna win one. So he'll probably be like a top 3 player in the generation.
I think he's. What are we quantifying like as far as player for player? Because player for player,
he's top 2.
Yeah, I would say he's player for player. He's after LeBron. Like, hey, I think he's better. I think he's better than Stephen Curry.
He's better than LeBron?
I think, huh?
No.
No, that's what I'm saying. He's 2.
No, I think
he's better than Stephen KD. He's better than Stephen KD. He's better than Stephen KD. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He's better than Stephen KD.
I think you could have the conversation. I think you have the conversation
with Steph.
I'm cool with Steph. I'm cool with KD, but I don't think it's a clearing that Jokic is better than Steph at all.
I think he's peaked higher than both of them.
He's peaked high with and his rings will probably come different. Like
I guess we'll see. Yeah, it's all got to play out too. Because he could win more.
MVP.
Yeah, it's fair. He's got to play more.
It's not even about accolades. I just think like attribute wise, like he clears Steph as a playmaker, and I know Steph has off ball playmaking, but he's so does Jokic. So it's like,
yeah, I don't know. I think
he clears him as a playmaker.
He's unprecedented.
That's fine, but I don't think necessarily that you can have an argument as a scorer who's better, because people don't realize, but like Jokic is one of the best playoff scorers in NBA history, and generally he's a better playoff performer than Stephen Curry. He is. He's a better playoff performer than Stephen Curry. He just genuinely.
I guess that's fine, but I think with the shit that Steph has on him, not being like unprecedented as his
the playoff numbers don't favor Steph at all. Like,
what does he have? What does he have on Jokic?
Huh? Accolades.
What does he have on Jokic?
Accolades are up there. His shooting ability is unprecedented for anybody. Huh?
You don't have more accolades than Jokic.
He's got 4 rings.
Championships, but he played with Kevin Durant. I mean,
he's got 4 rings. He's got 2 MVPs. 2 MVPs.
Jokic's got 4 MVPs, bro.
Huh? He's got 3 right now.
He's about to have he's literally about to win a fourth one right now.
He didn't three-peat.
Jokic has 2 MVPs.
No, he's not.
Jokic has 2 right now.
I'm
Embiid got 1. Yeah.
I'm tweaking. He gonna be a 3-time MVP.
Yeah, like a 3's great. Don't get me wrong. I think that Steph's
3-time MVP. If he wins the finals, he's gonna be a 2 times finals MVP.
Yeah. No, I agree. He's up there. But Steph's got the unanimous MVP. I think that has a lot of ground. Again, Steph revolutionized what we're at right now. You could look whatever you want. I'm a LeBron fan. I thought he should have got a vote, but he didn't. He was unanimous MVP. He's got the 7-3-9 Warriors team.
That's why to me that doesn't really like. I understand it holds weight, but I don't think like the unanimous because we know for a fact, based off like storyline, they do petty things like that. Like we know LeBron was supposed to have a unanimous and a DPOI that year. Like you know what I'm saying, but we do know 2013 Braun was the best player to ever play a game of basketball. You know what I'm saying, without having the unanimous tag or even having defensive player of the year.
I guess it's
all right.
Yeah, I get you.
All right.
I guess the last thing is just
let me get into this.
I was saying last thing is like Jokic is obviously like at the center position, unprecedented for his playmaking. But there are other players of all time who can compete with his playmaking. Would you agree or disagree?
LeBron and Magic. That's it.
Who is competing with Steph shooting? Nobody.
That doesn't mean anything to me, bro. I'm not gonna lie. What does that even mean?
Why? Huh?
What does it have to do with anything?
There's facets to Steph's game that no one has ever come close to, and for a couple more years will come close to. Like Steph's shooting peak is unprecedented. No one's competing with that. That is magnitude for me that Steph is a one of a kind of player.
All right.